Aloha and shalom, or as my constituents in Hawaii have coined the term, shaloha. Thank you so much for inviting me to address all of you at this year's Global Forum. The AJC has contributed so much to the advancement of religious tolerance for years. You've been on the front lines of breaking stereotypes and harmful assumptions. I appreciate so much your work. I've served in the House of Representatives now for over 6 years on the Armed Services and Foreign Affairs committees. And I've also served as a soldier for over 16 years in the Army National Guard and deployed twice to the Middle East. And during my first deployment, instead of taking my 2 weeks of R&R leave in Hawaii, I took the opportunity to visit Europe, where I went specifically to visit 2 extremely important locations. One was Chernobyl, and the other was Auschwitz. It was an experience that I will never, ever forget, and the world must never forget. Sadly, anti-Semitism has been on the rise in America and around the world. Just this year, during Passover in Poway, in California, the Chabad shooting was a hate crime in its most clear form. The deadliest attack on Jewish people in America happened in the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh last year. And the chief rabbi of Argentina was nearly beaten to death in his home in February. There's a presidential candidate in Argentina who openly praises Hitler. Now, as a Hindu in America, I know what it's like to be the target of religious bigotry. Not only have I been the target of numerous Hindu-phobic news articles, in every one of my campaigns, my opponents have resorted to fomenting anti-Hindu religious bigotry in order to try to defeat me. During my 2012 and 2014 elections, my Republican opponent stated publicly that a Hindu should not be allowed to serve in the United States Congress because Hinduism is incompatible with the US Constitution. And despite those comments, the Hawaii Republican Party endorsed my opponent. They didn't criticize or denounce his bigoted comments at any time. In my 2016 race for Congress, my Republican opponent said repeatedly that a vote for me was a vote for the devil, simply because of my religion. Now, unfortunately, such anti-Hindu religious bigotry is quite widespread throughout the United States. Hate crimes and rhetoric against anyone because of the way that they choose to worship must be condemned. Now, as you well know, on display at the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum is an important quote by a German Lutheran pastor who criticized Hitler and spent the last 7 years of Nazi rule in a concentration camp. The gravity of his words should remind us that we cannot sit back and watch bigotry in any form against anyone. He said, "First they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. Thank you for your efforts to combat anti-Semitism and to promote tolerance for all religions. Please know that as president, I will continue to stand with you to combat anti-Semitism and bigotry and to uphold our freedom of religion."